Hello fellow humans, and do you also enjoy not having to buy steaming piles of garbage? Well then, you're at the right place. Let's have a look at what's in the World of Tanks Blitz shop, what's good and what isn't good. If you're trying to, for example, grind a new tank line, then the Researcher's Kit are a great option because they include gold times 5 XP and boosters. And don't forget to like and subscribe because I might give away some of these in the future. In the tank section, we start off with the Brute Force, the Chieftain T95, which was before sold for 4k gold, believe it or not. And then the Gravedigger, which is, no. Now, the Chieftain, it was sold for cheaper, and the Gravedigger is not worth it, so I would personally ignore it, because 6.5k for this vehicle, inflation is hitting hard. Then we got the Matilda Black Prince, a vehicle that is, let's just not talk about it. I mean, the bundle seems decent at first, but then you realize these times 5s are even locked to the vehicle, so do not buy this whatever you do. The Tankenstein looks like a great bundle, 3.5k. If you want the vehicle, it also is a great bundle. However, if you're trying to get yourself a new premium tank to grind creds with, for example, then this isn't really the best of your options, especially also because these times 5s are also locked to the vehicle. So collector value, very good. Credit making value, not so good here. Then we have the Chieftain Mark 6, one of the best tier 10s in the game, sold at pretty much a perfect price, 17.5k. Remember, something like a WZ-111-5A, which is a worse vehicle, is often sold for 20k. So this thing has an absolutely amazing price, and it is even sold in 3 different bundles, so you can choose which level of ripped off you want to be. So this one, 20k gold, a bit more. It does include 25s times 5s. And it does also include a camouflage. So a bit of an upsell here. Not really worth the upsell. This one doesn't include... Unfortunately, it does not include equipment. But then this one, it's obviously an even bigger upsell. It also does include 10 bad company containers. At least Wargaming knows what they are. So ideally, do you want to have this bundle? I mean, if you can, go for it. It is the better value, essentially. But obviously, it is a classic case of a upsell. But overall, the Chieftain is a great vehicle to pick up for a intermediate to advanced tier 10 player. It makes great creds. The only big downside with this vehicle is the lack of good premium penetration. And the bangers just keep on coming because the Thieves 482 is in the shop as well. 8.5k gold. And remember, whenever you see something else tier 8 sold for 10k, remember this bundle and ignore those other ones, because this is one of the best tier 8s sold for 8.5k. Great deal here. It also has a bundle with the Lance and Sea here. Lance and Sea, questionable vehicle, only really for advanced players. But if you're interested in this kind of thing, that is a medium tech with no armor, but a little bit higher alpha damage, like the M4 Revelarise, can be a great bundle to pick up, especially because it includes this vehicle. So if you're a beginner to intermediate player, get the Thieves 482. If you're an advanced player, I can recommend both the Lance and the Thieves 482. And then the containers section. As always, open your free containers because they do include useful things for you. However, ignore bundles like this one. Even though it does include a certificate which guarantees you a vehicle, you will most likely end up with something that you don't want. I mean, for example, like an M60 that can't grind credits when you're looking for a credit grinding vehicle. Or you're going to end up with a TS60 if you don't like tank destroyers. So even though you're guaranteed a tank, you're not guaranteed a tank that you want, which is why I always recommend against gambling unless you really don't care what vehicle you're going to get here. Same is also true for the Soviet rapid takeoff here. But if you had to choose between the Soviet and the American one probably includes the better selection of vehicles, especially at tier 8. Obviously, something like a Object 752 is an absolute beast, or a Kennedy one's also pretty good. It's going to get nerfed, however. But I do think if you are getting one of the two, the American selection is the slightly less critical one. Speaking of critical, though, you can get a free mystery box now, apparently. And are these bad? Well, of course they're bad, but let's just simply open this one because it's free. Always open the free crates, but don't get hooked because this is what you're going to get from these boxes. Nothing. They're free, and this is absolutely a ploy to sucker you into buying more of them, especially, oh look, it's 50% discounted. So free offer like this, always take it, but then never play on, because if you do play on, then you have lost. to the almighty men of marketing. Now here we go with the Charlemagne, not that one, that one. The Tier 8 British heavy tank that has HESH rounds, standard rounds, 390 alpha damage, 227 penetration, HESH rounds, 158 penetration, and 470 alpha damage. So quite nice rounds there. However, that coupled with the 0.32 accuracy is absolutely nothing for a beginner whatsoever, so stay away from this if you're new to the game. Mobility is below average at best, so not really great there. And the armor, front plate, not that great. Turret can be pendant and cupola, especially also around and below the gun. But in general, a vehicle that just about works. Now, here's obviously the problem and the elephant in the room. I'm going to put it on screen here. This is how the vehicle is sold. It's in crates. I'm guessing that because obviously I'm making this before the shop offer comes up. But I know it will be in crates because they always are. So, is it worth spending 180 euros roughly on a vehicle that is this? No, it never is. So I don't think I have to repeat it again, and it sort of does get tiring and boring to have to repeat the same thing over and over again, because Wargaming will try to milk you absolutely as hard as they can, because it's apparently effective, right? Otherwise they wouldn't sell the new vehicles in crates. Is this a bad tank? No. Is it worth anything more than, for example, a Chieftain T95 that is also in the shop at the same time for 6.5k? Absolutely not. I mean, it is a decent tank for what it is, and if you're an advanced player, then you can make good work off the HESH rounds of this vehicle with 158mm penetration and 470 alpha damage, which is quite impressive. Simply have to position the vehicle correctly because it is quite sluggish in terms of its mobility. So you can make it work if you're a good player. The problem again is the Chieftain T95 is by no means a horrible tank on its own. It's obviously nowhere near. And that's the other thing. The T4E2 is in the shop right now for 8.5k gold. Meanwhile, this thing is sitting here in crates again. So buy the T4E2, and even if they were the same price, still buy the T4E2 because it's just that much better. If you're looking at a novelty fun tank that just fires expensive HESH rounds, it can be a good offer for a 6.5k gold, but not in crates. That horrible disappointment, that concludes yet another horrible disappointment of a new tank release. And bear with me here, it will be the same verdict for every single new tank that's going to come out for probably the rest of this game's life. That Wargaming has chosen a pricing strategy that is against the consumer and that is not even remotely worth buying at all. The vehicle, though, it's all right. And that's good enough. For 6.5. Thank you for watching. See you next one. Goodbye.